Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Race Time Radio, live tonight on SiriusXM Channel 167, Canada Talks. And don't forget our brand new live YouTube page, RaceTime Radio TV, as well as live on RaceTimeRadio.com. I'm Joe Chisholm, along with Junior here in the studio tonight. Busy weekend, Junior Championship weekend. What did you think of that one?
Hey, this was not a busy weekend for me by any stretch of the imagination. I parked my rump right in front of the TV, and I watched a bunch of racing. That's all I did, and it was awesome.
Race of the weekend.
The trucks.
Trucks.
For me. I watched a couple of the World Finals over at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah.
That would take the cake, but those are short races, right?
Right.
35 laps here and 25 laps there. There was a couple of real good shows there, but definitely I got to say the trucks were the race of the weekend for me. Enjoyed it. From the drop of the green flag to the end. I think that the middle portion of the Xfinity race, watching Noah Gragson, Ty Gibbs, and as well Justin Allgaier dice it up through, I'm going to say, lap 140 to close to the end of the race. They were getting after it, and that was some of the best racing that I've watched in the NASCAR Xfinity series in the past 10 years. But that being said, I still got to give it to the trucks. I think that, for a lot of these young guys, they're getting this rap of getting out there and wrecking each other. And, it gets old in a hurry. What we've seen this weekend, I don't care what anybody says. I've seen a couple of posts on social media already stating that the Cup race was boring. Stating that, they weren't happy with who the champion was, blah, 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 whatever it was. What you can say about this weekend was that it was good, clean, honest racing between the championship four in the trucks, in Xfinity, and in Cup.
No controversy at the end of these.
No, and a little bit of controversy with the Ross Chastain and Chase Elliott, but I still class it as clean racing.
I do,
It
too.
was, Chastain did not mean to wreck him.
No.
I can say that clear as day.
130 miles an hour happens fast, right?
Yeah. And
somebody cuts across your nose.
Yeah.
They're already spun by the time you get a chance to lift.
I mean, it's definitely a tough pill to swallow. Obviously, Chase Elliott's going to be mad about it. Anytime you end up in the inside wall, you're going to end up mad about it.
Absolutely.
But, it's I think that the racing this weekend, there was times where the racing finish could have been altered with just the placement of a fender or a dirty door slam, or even taking somebody out. There could have been a lot of different outcomes this weekend. Would it have been more exciting if that happened? I vote no.
Yeah,
I think that the racing was fantastic. So, got to give it up to Zane Smith, of course, picking up the truck victory, picking up the victory in the championship as well. Third time's a charm for him. Bridesmaid, and winner
champion.
So, got to take your hat off to Zane Smith and Furniture Row and Ford and all those guys, and then as well Ty Gibbs. I have been difficult on him. Obviously, the news came out today that his father, Coy Gibbs, passed away.
How devastating!
Devastating! Terrible news.
I know what it's like.
Everything you can possibly say is terrible. That being said, I've been difficult on that kid, and
me too.
And he drove a whale of a race and won that championship fair, square, however you want to put it. Went out there and won that championship, and it's tough that every time he looks back on it now, he's going to think about his dad. But when you look at the outcome of that, Ty Gibbs earned it. And he did it right.
He sure did.
And he didn't rough anybody up. He didn't do anything. He had tons of opportunity to rough up the 7. He had tons of opportunity to rough up the 9. Obviously, he had the best car. Was patient enough to realize that and drove up and took the flag home. So hats off to Ty Gibbs, and then as well, hats off to Joey Logano. Man, he had the diamond. And he ran away with it.
He got her done. He sure did. Hey, we're going to talk about all the above here tonight and more. We're going to be joined by Alex Labbe. He drove the 92 yesterday in the NASCAR XFinity Series. He drove 99% of the races in XFinity this year. We've seen him a couple times up here in Canada. Alex is on his way home right now, actually. Landed in Montreal maybe an hour ago. Still driving home. We're going to catch up with him here shortly. We'll also hear from Paul Trepanier. Haven't heard from Paul all year. Owner of Full Throttle Motor Speedway. We're going to check in with Paul tonight. His banquet was this weekend and his registration meeting, all in one. So we're going to check in with Paul Trepanier tonight. Big news here in the province of Ontario came out at the late part of last week. And OSCAAR is merging together with the United Racing Series that owns APC. Tonight, we're going to check in with the president of OSCAAR. Dave Gainforth is going to join us. And then in hour number 2, we're also going to hear from, how about it? We got a truck guy coming on. We got Mr. Grant Enfinger, 23 for GMS and for Champion Power Equipment. We will hear from Grant Enfinger here tonight. What were you going to say, Junior?
Well, I was just going to say, surprising news out of the OSCAAR United Late Model or United Racing Series merger. I didn't see that one coming. That's one of those things where it's very rare that things happen here in Ontario or in motorsports in general that catch off guard completely. And that news, when I seen that tweet, and how I learned about it was on Mike Schmidt's Facebook page. He shared he shared a white piece of paper and just a picture of it, and I looked at it and I was like, what is that? And I'm reading through it and I was like, what? There's no way. And it's right on par. Luke and those guys with APC, they've got a grand vision of what they want motorsports to look like in Ontario, what they want it to look like in Canada. I think that this is a big play, and
it's huge.
When you look at the grand scheme of things, they control a tremendous amount of cars now in Ontario. With that comes a tremendous amount of responsibility, and I don't think that they take that lightly. There's when you look at the car counts across the board in Ontario, if you wanted a lot of cars in your pit area, you had to look at OSCAAR. You had to look at the United Late Model Series.
Yep.
Not the Late Model Series, the United Racing Series, because they got the Super Stocks, right? The Super Stock Quick deal.
That's right. Yep.
And the APC series.
Yep.
Everything else is 20, 15,
or less
cars.
Yep.
Even if you put on your own events, they kind of compete against those other touring series. And, when you look at now, they control a large chunk of the market share when it comes time for race cars. And it's going to be really interesting. I think it's a good move? Do I think it's a bad move? Right? There's not an opinion yet. We have to see how this is going to work out.
Well,
and I think that it has all the makings to be the best move ever in racing. But it also is super scary.
Listen, the tracks have to buy into that.
They definitely have to.
They have to.
That's part of the entire checklist, and the tracks need to buy into it.
Well,
if they don't, it becomes very dangerous.
I think at this particular moment in time in the province of Ontario, if they don't buy into it, then there's going to be all kinds of disruption within the ranks here in the province of Ontario. They need to buy into it, and they need to give Luke dates. They can't do what they did to All-Star back in the day and band together and say, oh, no, we're not going to take a date.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what they can't do.
I think that it's definitely in a different place than where All-Star was at the time. I think that the ownership groups...
Yeah, there was only one at that time, All-Star.
Yeah.
Now take a look at it.
Exactly.
You got late model. You got super stock.
Yep.
You got hot rod.
Yep.
You got modifieds.
Yep.
And you know what I would think would be a natural fit to this? Slide the super late models back into the OSCAAR world. They got a 25-year history with OSCAAR. They've been disrupted, if you will, since they haven't been under the OSCAAR banner.
Yep.
I think it'd be a brilliant move for Luke to rally up those troops with the super late models, pull them under that wing as well, and get them going.
I think for a competitor, if I was a competitor, I would be more than excited because I think that
as long as you don't end up with one track.
Correct. Yeah, 100%. And that is, that's. I don't think that that's going to happen, and I don't we are not saying that that's what's going to happen.
No, I don't wish that on anything.
Exactly.
I want nothing but success.
What we're saying is that when you control that much market share, it becomes a lot of responsibility.
A danger. It's a danger. That's what it is.
When I look at it. But on the flip side, the positives far outweigh that danger, I think.
Yes,
and I think that they do as well. When you look at
if you think you're going to see an APC race, super stock race, the hot rods and the modifieds all on the same bill on the same day.
Well, you kind of do.
I don't think you're going to see that
on the same weekend. You already do, and I
look at Delaware.
I look at the Delaware finale,
at Delaware,
and I also look at
over 2 days.
I also look at the Velocity weekend at Sunset, and both of those are that way, right? And you have the super stock.
You didn't have the APC cars there, not on Velocity weekend.
On the Spring Velocity weekend.
Oh. Spring, okay.
Spring Velocity weekend, I believe it's Spring Velocity. There is a weekend there where you have OSCAAR modifieds, hot rods, APC, and
on different days,
Superstock. Yeah,
on different days, not the same day.
Oh, I don't think on the same day.
That's what I meant. On the same ticket.
Yeah, I don't think
you're not going to see it on the same ticket. Well, the numbers, I don't think will justify it. They'd have to charge. Well, they're charging $45 for an APC race now at some tracks.
Yeah, that would have to be like $75.
Oh, it'd have to be something stupid, and then it would be counterproductive.
We're speaking hypothetical. Obviously,
yes.
We haven't seen a schedule. We haven't seen anything. But that being said, I am hats off to everybody involved because I think that it has the makings to be one of the most spectacular things that we've seen in Ontario racing. And, over the course of a year, the difficulty is people get frustrated. I look at the job that Dave Gainforth has done.
He has
over
done
the
an
years.
Amazing job.
He has, and
amazing.
And long term, the longer somebody does it, the more people get frustrated, and the more some people buy in deeper, and some people get frustrated. And I know people that are on both sides of that. And I look at the job that Dave Gainforth has done building what he has built, and I can't wait to talk to him tonight. Dave Gainforth has built a behemoth. Right?
He did.
And
he built the OSCAAR hot rods from an idea.
And on a very little amount of money.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things. There was no $50,000, points fund sponsor.
No.
But that also takes a lot of the competitors to buy into that model.
Will there be now?
That's the thing is, does this change the financials? For the modifieds, does it change the financials for the hot rods? There are so many unanswered questions.
Though? What does that do with hot rod? Remember, we just asked the champion. We had the champion for the hot rod series on 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago,
yep.
And I asked Steve, were you happy with the 200 or 250 or whatever it was to win, where everybody gets the same amount of money? Were you happy with that? And he goes, well, some nights yes and some nights no.
Yep.
But overall, he said it's the most effective way to do it for everybody.
Yep.
So, is that motto going to change? And if it does, what's the impact's going to be?
Yep.
They could be all over the spectrum. If you think Dave Gainforth is done, you're wrong. You're wrong, I can tell you that. Dave Gainforth's going to join us in a bit here on the show. We'll be able to ask him all those questions. I can't wait. Dave is a great guy. I've been friends with Dave for a long time. We go way back. And to see what he has done, what he has grown, and to see how excited he is with this partnership is really kind of cool to see. I look at it from a guy that's sort of been there, not where Dave is, but in similar shoes, and to see what was the outcome of that virtually broke my heart back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it changed. It changed everything.
Absolutely.
It did. It changed everything. So hopefully that doesn't happen.
Yeah, when you look at the car counts, I think that is they do control. There's such a controlling thing there when it comes time for car counts, and it's like it scares promoters for some ungodly reason. It's got to be bred into some of these, like 50% of the people who want to be a promoter, when they see a traveling tour that has a good car count, it's like they get mad at it. Like it's like
exactly.
Honestly, it's like the list is a mile long, whether it be in Canada, whether it be in the United States. When you see a tour, I look at the ASA series. That was the best thing since sliced bread. The ASA series was growing leaps and bounds, and all of a sudden, all the track owners down there got freaked out.
Yep.
And pulled back completely because it was taken away from their super late model division. It was taken away from their pro late model division, whatever it might have been, or their division. And there was obviously a lot of things that squashed the ASA series, but that was one of them. Is that they stopped getting dates. And and same with the Pro Cup division.
Yeah.
Very similar outcome.
Same thing.
And it's like a traveling tour just gets off the ground and gets moving and gets rocking and rolling, and then the track owners are the things that put the kibosh to it. So I don't know. It is a catch-22. It
Only
is such a
so
weird
many
industry.
cars can start the race.
Exactly.
And you have to have a place for your Saturday night hot dog, the guy that's won multiple championships and multiple races and his late model. You have to have a place. Well, you don't have to, but there has to be a place for that guy to go.
Yep.
If the NASCAR XFinity series is too big of a jump, then you better hope there's an APC series, because that's a big enough jump from Saturday night into that. But thank God it's there, because now when guys are done racing Saturday night, instead of parking their car and going fishing or picking up knitting needles or whatever they do after they're done winning races and championships, no, guys get energized and they go, you know what, we've done it at the track level. Can't wait to come back here once or twice a year. I'm going to go APC racing. And they get in and they spend a lot of money and they go after it. And, if there isn't that destination, then there's a big vacuum and things go backwards. I'm not saying that for APC, because they got it all going right now. With the acquisition of this now, it's going to be like, I don't know, how do you book an OSCAAR race? We're going to find out tonight when we ask Dave. Do you still call Dave Gainforth and say, hey, Dave, I want the same dates I had last year? Is there more pressure on him to get more dates with this news? Is it going to pay more? Is it like Dave ain't going to have all the answers here tonight, but he should be able to fill in some of the blanks. That's going to be kind of cool, and you can bet the competitor base is going to be dialed right in. Anyway, we're going to hit this first break. Alex Labbe, I believe, is clearing TSA as we speak. Sue tried to get a hold of him, said call back in about 10, 20 minutes. So that's what we're doing. We're going to call Alex Labbe back. We're going to talk NASCAR XFinity. He had a great run yesterday. Top 20 finish for Alex Labbe in the 92 car. I know we're used to seeing him in the 36. We'll ask him why 92 instead of 36 tonight. I believe Williams was in the 36, finished 11th. And I want to say Alex finished 14th. Good run for him. We'll talk Alex Labbe on the other side of the break, and then we get everything fired off here tonight. Stay with us. Junior and I will be back live tonight on Race Time Radio.
Come on, wake up, honey. I got a little money coming my way. We gotta get out of here. Can you find me some cigarettes, little whiskey and beer?
From coast to coast, you're listening to Canada Talks.
Now, a flashback in Canadian music history. Here's Eric Alper.
Tom Cochrane's most famous song, Life is a Highway, was a #1 hit in Canada, and it hit the top 10 in the Billboard charts back in 1992. It was written after Tom's famine relief work overseas took place. He was so taken with what was happening there, he wrote it as a pick-me-up to himself after watching the devastation. That's why he mentioned places in the song like Khyber Pass, along with his hometown of Vancouver.
Canadian Sports Trivia. Here's Joe Thistle.
During the 2000 NBA All-Star festivities, the Toronto Raptors' Vince Carter exploded to win the dunk contest with a series of moves including a through-the-leg slam. Carter's air show was a defining moment for basketball in Canada, putting the Raptors and the entire country on the map. A championship now in the books, Canada has become a hotbed for NBA talent, and it was Vince Carter flying through the air that started it all.
Canadian Sports Trivia.
Even though Napa is a nationally known name, nearly all of our stores are built from the ground up by local owners and families. People you might call neighbors will be here, there, and everywhere, doing what neighbors do to keep their communities moving forward. You stop by a Napa Auto Parts store, you can count on Napa know-how.
Tonight's Race Time Radio is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts Stores, New Glasgow, Antigonish, and Port Hawkesbury, Nova Scotia. You can count on Napa know-how. BP Race Fuels, the worldwide leader in race fuel technology.
Now, a flashback in Canadian music history. Here's Eric Alper.
Rush holds a special place in our hearts and in the record books. They've sold more than 40 million copies around the world. They have a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame, inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Officers of the Order of Canada. And they've released 24 gold records and 14 platinum albums, placing them 5th for the most consecutive gold or platinum studio albums by any rock band.
From the high banks of Daytona, we cover it all. Ooh, that's going to leave a mark. And now, back to the Joes.
Hey, shake and bake, Cal! Woo! Shake and bake!
Here on Race Time Radio.
And just like that, we are back with you all live tonight. Sure hope you're enjoying the show. We got a good one coming at you. Alex Labbe coming up in a few minutes. Paul Trepanier from Full Throttle Motor Speedway. If you don't know that name, Varney, you'll know that name. It's been around for 100 years. Paul Trepanier, the owner-promoter there. We're going to hear from him. We're going to hear from Grant Enfinger in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. And we're going to hear from Dave Gainforth with OSCAAR, with the big merger with the United Racing Series that's just took place just the other day. Junior, pretty cool that Camping World, that was their last race as entitlement sponsor of the Truck Series. It now turns to Craftsman like it was back in the day, so I won't have to put any more money in the jar. I can call it Craftsman Truck Series from now on.
Yeah, but you know what'll happen is you're going to call it the Camping World Truck Series.
I know that.
That's what's going to happen.
I know that.
But, yeah, no, definitely. It's going to be cool that it goes back to Craftsman. The Craftsman has went through dramatic changes since the last time that it was the title sponsor.
Yeah.
You know, now an affiliate of Stanley and the whole group over there, but really neat to you know, see it come full circle and back into entitlement status. It's gonna be neat. I think that Camping World brought the Truck Series to a whole new level.
It did,
and I think that the way that Craftsman is marketing now, they're going to take it to another new level.
Yep. And I think Camping World will be back.
I don't think that they're going to be back as an entitlement of anything.
I think so?
I think that they're going to continue to activate and sponsor NASCAR. I think Marcus Lemonis, you know,
Marcus loves it.
Loves NASCAR.
Yep.
In all levels of NASCAR. I think that he'll be part of it in some way, shape, and form. I think that he's got a lot of vested interest in the NHRA right now. He's got some changing on the investing side. They've seen some different stakeholders come into the Camping World fold. So it'll be interesting. I think that you're going to see Camping World on screen, probably equal or if not more during Sunday shows, like during the Cup Series shows. And I think that you're going to see them on cars, you're going to see them on trucks, you're going to see them on a bunch of different levels of activation. But if not, they already spent a pile and they built up a wicked brand using NASCAR as a platform. I don't think that anybody could say that they wasted their money because NASCAR did a great job for them. And
so did the teams. I put a tweet out the other night saying, everybody you'll remember, when times were tough for guys, for teams to get sponsors, and it was really tough there for a window, Marcus went along and said, look, anybody that runs the full Camping World scheme on their car, truck, we will sponsor you for, what was it, $15,000, I think it was, which, hey, you want to talk about new tires for a race or whatever. That particular weekend that he did that, what was there, like 12, 15 vehicles?
Yeah.
Right from trucks to
He ended up spending just shy of $2 million.
Did he?
Yeah. So it was just shy of $2 million across the sport. And they did it 4 weeks, throughout the month of, I want to say July. It was a wonderful thing what they did. Undervalued the sponsorship to a certain degree, to the marketplace. But
when you got nothing, that looks pretty rosy,
you're
man.
Darn right.
Yeah.
So it's
that up the value.
I think they did a good job with it. But it's hats off. I think that they're going to be missed, but they're also going to still be seen.
Well, a busy guy that is a Canadian that's been in like 99.999% of the NASCAR XFinity races over the past 3-4 years is Alex Labbe. And we are lucky enough to have him on the hotline right now. Alex, did you make it home to Canada, or are you still en route, bud?
Hey, Joe, no, I'm driving back right now.
Nice.
Roads, long flight from the West Coast, so
oh, yeah.
should be home in about an hour and a half.
Yeah, I can well imagine. So take us back. Not a bad run for you, Alex. What was that, 14th you finished off, right?
No, we finished 18th yesterday in Phoenix. And it was a pretty solid day. I mean, we went back and forth. First half of the race was a little rougher, but second half of the race we made some good changes, and I think we ran all the way up to like 11th or 12th at one point, and just fell off a little bit too much on that last run, especially on the longer run. But it was a good effort. We were around really good cars with good equipment and good drivers, so it's always fun to race against these guys.
Every year, Alex, every race, it seems like you learn, you pick up on something, it's been a forward progress, and you've been making that forward progress every time that you've been out there. It wasn't that long ago, you were finishing 30th, 32nd, and that was considered a good day. Now look at you. You're in the top 20, sometimes in the top 10. You look back to the Roval, top 5, for God's sakes. You are you're one of those guys that is coming.
No, for sure. I mean, we finished 13th last week in Martinsville and 18th this weekend, and it's just no surprise. Like the Xfinity grid is getting tougher and tougher too. Especially this year. I mean, the mid pack really stepped up a lot. There's a lot more money, a lot more cars. So it's not where we want. I mean, we definitely want to have some more top 10s, but I feel like realistically for us right now, top 20s, top 15s is a really good day. But especially at a track like Phoenix, Phoenix is definitely it's always been one of the toughest tracks just to get good results because there's not a lot of cars falling out, and it's a small mile and a half. So the bigger teams are always really fast. So, but it's a fun track. It's where I made my debut in Xfinity in 2016, and I always loved racing Phoenix.
Alex, we see you up here in Canada whenever you come up here and run, with the Penny Series or you come up and run a late model. Now, as much as you can. But you look at Racing Reference. I always get a kick out of, when we're having a guest on, just to punch up Racing Reference and just take a look at the stats, right? DJ Cannington was a guy that we all looked up to, for running the Busch Series and the Nationwide Series with Randy McDonald with the 81, and he ran a few races at whether it be Montreal or with Morgan McClure, just a handful of races. When I think back to it, he ran a lot of Xfinity racing, right?
Yep.
And when I think about you. you're still a young guy to me, and you know, the numbers don't line up here. When I look at DJ Kennington, he ran 51 over 8 years. From 2006 to 2019, he ran 51 Xfinity races. When I look at Alex Labbe's race and reference, you ran 138. Like, you ran 138 of these races in Xfinity. Do you feel, and does it feel like you belong when you walk into that garage area now? Does it feel like you're you know, very well respected? Does it feel like you're still the Canadian guy that's sneaking in? Like, how do you feel when you're at the racetrack?
No, I feel like I'm definitely well respected. I mean, people kind of expect me to be there every week, even if we scale back this year. I feel like it's because we've ran full time like from in 18, 20, and 21, and
for sure.
So we like I said, that's why we've accumulated a lot of races throughout the years, and people expect us to be there. But it's fun. There's a really good mutual respect with the drivers down there, and it's always fun to run in the NASCAR XFinity Series.
So score 2022 for us. If you're doing a report card, how did you enjoy it, and how did you enjoy the progress, whether it be in Canada, whether it be down in the U.S. with the NASCAR XFinity Series?
I think it's been a solid year. I mean, for sure we wanted more top tens this year. We've had a lot of bad lucks, but definitely like the road courses, we've stepped up our program. We've been good on the road courses in the last couple of years, but this year was definitely my best year speed-wise on the road races, and we had some good rides on the short track. But definitely the road course tracks were a big plus for us. We were always, I feel like, I think 5 out of 6 races we were in the top 10 on the speed chart in practice, and qualified in the top 5 at COTA, and raced in the top 5 for a majority of the day. So it's been a good year. Like I said, I wish we still got 3 top 10s. I didn't run all of the schedule. We only ran like 26 races, but it's been a good year. It's just like I said earlier, the competition's getting tougher and tougher. That just makes it even more difficult to get some good results. And but as a whole, I feel like we've still progressed in 2022, even if it's harder to see on paper.
Hey, how come you were in the 92 this weekend and not the 36? You've been in the Can-Am 36 and multiple sponsorship, but usually the Can-Am 36 is your car. How come you were in the 92 this weekend?
Because this race was not planned on my schedule. So Josh Williams was already planned a race this weekend. So we've had a last-minute sponsor with NRS Brakes, and we've added that race like last week. So the only option was to run a 92, and it's the same equipment. It's just all the people around us, the people that's in the garage, the people for the pit stops, and it's just all the little details that makes it a little bit more difficult to execute and have a good day and make as much progress as we do usually with the 36 car.
I will say this about that NRS car looked really good.
Oh, man,
beautiful. It looked sporty. You guys brought some really good looking race cars to the racetrack, and you guys have. You know, the DGM team has brought some really good looking equipment to the racetrack since its inception, really.
Yep.
But I will say this year. Whoever does the graphic work and whoever does the layouts and stuff like that throughout the course of this year, the sponsors always popped off the car whenever it was seen on TV. Yep. You guys always brought a really good looking professional scheme to the racetrack, and you know, it's so cool to see the progression. And you know, it seems like we blow a lot of smoke up Mario's butt, you know, on this program, but he deserves it.
Yes,
every single time that we talk to one of you guys, it's you know, you guys are turning heads and fighting inside the top 15, inside the top 10, and progressing, man, and that's what it takes. Everybody always asks, where did that guy come from once they make it?
Yeah.
And, you know, it takes a lot of years like this, and it's building towards something. And I think that it's trending in the right way, and I can't wait to see what happens for next year. Are we going to see Alex Labbe and a bunch of Pinty's races next year, or what's the plan?
Yeah, I wish I knew. I mean, I'm still we're still working hard on 2023 schedule. There's not much. There's nothing set in stone, and we've got a couple options in front of us. So we'll look in the next couple of weeks for sure. Now that the season's over, it's gonna be time to get after it pretty good and to align our 2023 year. I mean, Daytona is always like right around the corner. I think it's only like 91 or 92 days from now. So it's Christmas is gonna go by, and it's gonna be race time almost already. So it's definitely gonna be one of our main tasks here in the next couple of weeks.
Well, the engines aren't even cool on the jet that just brought you home, so we'll cut you a little bit of slack, Alex. You get home, have a safe trip, kick your feet back, enjoy the family for a little bit, but let us know as soon as those plans come together for whatever you're going to do in 2023. You are a resident on the show, and you will be again next year. I know it.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I'll let you guys know for sure whenever we're set for 2023.
Well, congratulations on a decent year, Alex Labbe. Thanks so much for doing all you do.
Thank you, guys. Talk to you later.
You bet. Alex Labbe, he drove the 92 on Saturday in the NASCAR XFinity Series. Normally drives the 36, but late entry junior. He's going to have to take the car that Mario's got there for him.
Yeah, definitely. When you look at the career that he's had so far.
Oh, yeah. That blows my mind, those stats that you pulled up there.
I know,
136 races.
Over the course of 7 years, 138. 138 races. He's got one top 5. He's got 13 top 10s. 21,351 laps. That's a ton.
Yep.
When you look at his NASCAR Pinty's career, how many races do you think he's done in the Pinty series?
Well, they get about 10, 12 races a year. I'm going to say he did that 5 years. I don't know, 50, 60 races.
55.
55.
Yeah, 55, right on the line. When you look at 55 races in the
and
Pinty
he was
series,
a champion.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Multiple race wins, 6 race wins in the Pinty series. He's got 7 pole awards, 7,700 laps. So, I mean, when you total it all up,
the boy's got stats.
He's got the stats. Really, one of Canada's most decorated, top 3 tier drivers in the modern era for sure. With the most amount of starts and really the most amount of potential. And they continue to improve. That like you said, that number was 30. That number was 25. That number was 22. The finishing position, and now they finished 18th, and you could tell that he wasn't happy with that. He ran inside the top 12. So it's incredible to see. I'm a huge Alex Labbe fan. He races every lap like it's the last lap, but he also races every lap, with class. And he's got a lot of respect out there.
If I get my wish tonight when I go to bed, I'm going to say a little prayer and hope that Mario Gosselin wins that Powerball for $1.9 billion. Because I'll tell you what, Alex Labbe, Mason Massey, and Josh Williams will finish 1, 2, 3 at Daytona if Alex or if Mario wins the Powerball.
You think so?
Well, yeah, that's all they're missing. It's the funding.
It
if
is.
I had my wish, corporate Canada would, and I've said this a million times, but corporate Canada would jump behind Mario Gosselin and the effort that he's putting forward down there.
Yep.
Like I know Alex Labbe is the only Canadian that you see right now, but you got to know that Donald Tease has been down there in one of Mario's cars. He puts forth a great effort, and if we could get a full-time Canadian guy in a car like that, and Mario Gosselin's a Canadian guy. He's from Montreal. Him and his brother Jerome, they're from Montreal.
Yeah.
You know what?
I think that
honestly, if we could get corporate Canada to jump behind there, we could be a threat.
Yeah,
I know we could. We got the guys.
It takes the right mindset for that, to get.
Oh, they got
Canada.
the mindset.
They've got the mindset for racing, and they've got the mindset for leveraging the assets that they've got in front of them. they're not putting together a campaign going into corporate Canada looking for it. They are looking.
Well, they probably have, but just, corporate Canada is not real receptive to going down and blowing a bunch of millions in the U.S., I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and
I don't know.
That is a big part of it. But, I look at a conversation that we had on this very program with Alex Tagliani. Tags said,
yep.
and Tags is the best marketer in Canadian motorsports.
NASCAR Pindies.
I'm going to take my hat off to Tags right now and say that.
Yep.
And say that he is by far the best marketer in Canadian motorsports. He's hooked up with
Indy 500 pole sitter would help.
That does help.
Yeah, but Tags is a good guy.
You need to build a brand in order to get a chance to sit on the Indy 500 pole.
Yep.
You need to build your brand.
Well, this is Sam Smith.
And
it's a good car.
That's the way that it's got to be. You gotta build yourself to the point where you can get enough funding to put yourself in the seat to go get an Indy 500 pole or a Daytona 500 start. All those different things. Tags said something that has stuck with me since that interview, and that was like 2.5 years ago.
Right.
It was when he was announcing the Rona deal coming out. He said that Canada, has got the ability to put together a team similar to that of what Furniture Row did.
Mm-hmm.
Furniture Row kind of built a faraway team from the hub of NASCAR,
right,
and leveraged the fact that they were far away.
Yeah,
they leveraged it as a tourist stop. Their shop, they sold when you landed in the Denver airport. There was Furniture Row racing gear available because they were from Denver.
Right.
And when you land in Toronto, you could buy Toronto Maple Leafs gear. You can buy
Toronto Blue Jays.
Yep.
You can buy that all over the country.
Exactly. You could do that all over the country. You could do that very thing with Canadian motorsports.
Sure, you could.
You could start a Canadian racing team.
A big-time one.
And I think that Steve Meehan had the right intentions and the right thought process.
He did.
But he blew it when he bought a team with terrible assets. And he bought a team with terrible people behind the wheel.
Well, he spent a lot of money,
He spent a lot of money. But what I'm saying is we
break.
have the ability in Canada to create that.
Yep.
And to create a team that is Canada's team. And I'm not saying that DJM's not trying to be that, but they also are not trying to be that because they're not marketing themselves as Team Canada.
Right.
They're they're marketing themselves as a top tier nationwide team or Xfinity team because that's what they are.
In the jar.
It's not a swear jar.
And Nationwide's not coming back either.
No.
Well, not into that.
Xfinity.
Okay, we're going to hit our break. When we come back, Paul Trepanier, Full Throttle Motor Speedway, going to go full throttle right here on Race Time Radio. Stay with us. It's time to get back to the racetracks. For over 30 years, Quick fire starters have fueled this sport on and off the track, making lighting your campfire as easy as 1, 2, 3. There's no need for kindling or paper. Just pop your Quick fire starter in the pit, add your wood, and presto, you're a pro. Quick fire starters. No harmful chemicals, and guaranteed to light your fire every time. Quick fire starters, the world's best fire starter.
Rev TV, your motorsports and automotive destination. Watch live races from around the world and right here at home, from 2 wheels to 4 and so much more. Rev TV is your source for motorsports. Rev TV features exclusive race series, up-to-date news coverage, documentaries, how-to programs, and adrenaline-filled lifestyle programs 24/7. Go green with Rev TV. Contact your TV provider to order.
Tonight's Race Time Radio is fueled by AP Race Fuels, the worldwide leader in race fuel technology.
If you're a Springsteen fan, you just found the promised land. Hear rare interviews and performances. Live concerts.
Is there anybody alive out there?
Celebrity guest DJs.
This is Rob Lowe.
Hey, baby, it's Little Steven here.
And more exclusives when listening to Bruce Springsteen's channel.
Welcome, Bruce Springsteen, to E Street Radio, your home away from home.
Great to be here.
E Street Radio, SiriusXM Channel 20.
Canadian Sports Trivia. Here's Joe Thistle.
During the 2000 NBA All-Star festivities, the Toronto Raptors' Vince Carter exploded to win the dunk contest with a series of moves including a through-the-leg slam. Carter's air show was a defining moment for basketball in Canada, putting the Raptors and the entire country on the map. A championship now in the books, Canada has become a hotbed for NBA talent, and it was Vince Carter flying through the air that started it all.
Canadian Sports Trivia.
Men, morning men.
Hi, I'm Evan Cohen.
And I'm Mike Babchak.
We were given 30 seconds to describe our show, Morning Men, on Mad Dog Sports Radio. So I'll ask you some questions, and you give me the answers. What do we do for fun?
You go to the diner with your family. Me, I drink and forget I have a family.
Biggest crush?
You, Tom Brady. Me, anyone in yoga pants.
What do we want to do more of?
You, talk about what happened the night before in the world of sports. Me, I would like to do more of my wife. I think we just ran out of time.
Morning Men, 6 to 10 a.m. Eastern, Mad Dog Sports Radio, SiriusXM 82, and the SiriusXM app.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Welcome back.
Race Time Radio.
I think I like it too.
I think I like it too. That's Joey Vinegar. Check him out, joeyvinegar.com. Check him out. You need to do that. Welcome back, everybody, to Race Time Radio. All live tonight. SiriusXM Channel 167 on RaceTimeRadioTV on our YouTube channel, and, of course, on RaceTimeRadio.com. I'm Joe Chisholm, along with Junior here in the RTR studio. And that over there on the hotline happens to be Paul Trepanier. We were hoping that we were going to have him on video so we could introduce you to him on a visual standpoint, but we'll have to settle for the telephone this time. Paul, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Joe, pretty good. How are you doing tonight?
Doing fantastic, my friend. So you had a banquet, you had a registration yesterday. But before we get to that, how did 2022 shake out now that you had all your closest friends back to the Speedway and no pandemic?
I think it worked out pretty good. We're in our second year. COVID was still primary going into this year. For a transition out of COVID, you couldn't have asked for a better year.
How big of a kick in the stones was that, Paul Trepanier? You bought a Speedway, and all of a sudden, right on the heels of it, COVID comes and shuts the whole place down. Like, it's just nuts.
It is. I mean, you can't control actions of the world. It is what it is. You just got to move forward, keep a positive attitude, and hope for the best through it all.
Well, and you did that. Congratulations on all of it. Because, man, I'll tell you what, that if you can weather that storm, Paul, you're going to be able to weather whatever, anything can get thrown at you. And you did a good job. Things sounded like they went well at Varney this year, Full Throttle Motor Speedway. All in all, good year for you?
Oh, definitely. We have a really good local fan base that's very supportive. A lot of local loyal racers, various divisions like our trains, just an outstanding bunch of people that are behind you moving forward.
Yeah, it is, really. And you know what? You are blessed with a loyal base there at Full Throttle Motor Speedway. But, Paul, just like every other track owner, you hit this time of the year, and in a minute I'll ask you about your registration, but you hit this time of the year, and I know you probably started thinking about this in August. What am I going to change for 2023 to try and up it? Like, have you got any ideas rolling around, in the back of the mind on what you're going to do for 2023 to, give the ball a kick or move it down the yard, move it down the field?
We're always looking for ways to improve. We're bringing in a few different people in key areas. We're going to try to up our social media presence, bumps in a lot of our pay areas in various divisions. We do have OSCAAR coming this year, Hot Rods and Mods. That will add to it.
Nice.
A couple of OSS races. A little bit more travel and series is coming in to filter in with our regulars.
Paul, I've said this, and I don't know if you've heard it. I don't know if you've read it. I don't know. I've probably posted it on social media 10 times. It's even before you bought the place. But and I just want to bring it up because we were at a Buck and Doe, and we were talking about this very thing. And have you looked at and evaluated having a large late model invitational race, like geared towards pro late models at Full Throttle? First off, have you evaluated that?
I have thought of it a few times. This year, at this moment, with all the things that are going on and with various tracks and groups, and we got to kind of sit back and let all this shake out and see what exactly is going to happen. But it's not out of the ballpark.
It
is there.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. What I was going to say is I would be the first one to buy a ticket to go see that race.
I'd be first.
And
I'd knock you out of the way. Even though you're a
you,
big guy, I'd knock you over to get a ticket.
You would not.
Yes, I would. I'd trip you.
Yeah, you'd trip me. But what I'm and I have said this since even before Gord Bennett had it. I look at the Slinger Nationals down south, and that is one of my favorite races. I've never got a chance to go to it, but I've watched it. Very similar racetrack. Very similar in the fact that it's, high bank, the speeds would be fast, but it's still tight, so it's not crazy fast, right? Like we're not talking Winchester fast here. But I've always wanted to see 24 wicked pro late models. Obviously, in a grand scheme of things, I think if you did that and there was a pro late model invitational that was a bang-up good race, I think you'd have APC knocking down the door, because I think some of the best races that we've had in this province was at a little track called Barrie Speedway.
Oh, hey.
When I look at some of the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series races, when I look at some of the old CASCAR races, when I look at some of the old OSCAAR super late model races, some of my favorite races happened at Little Barrie Speedway with no banking. I could only imagine 24 wicked pro late models out on that racetrack. Not to take anything away from what you guys have going. I have watched a ton of racing at Varney. I've watched a ton of racing at Full Throttle, and it is very entertaining racing. And that's why I think that you would have a huge, massive event if it was just pulled off one time. I've heard the arguments pushed back from some of the other people out there, where it's like, oh no, it's too small. It's not too small.
No,
it
it's
is
not.
the perfect size for a wicked pro late model race, I think.
I agree, and NASCAR proved it at the Coliseum. If they could do what they did at the Coliseum, you 100% could run a full-blown APC event here with no issue. We have 70 poured pads on the premises now. They could run here if they elected to.
Exactly. And you know what, Paul Trepanier, I'm going to tell you something. If by chance the directorship of whatever series, I'm not just saying APC, I don't care what series it is, if you are going to ask the race base what they want to do and you want to vote on stuff, well, I'll tell you what, you're in for a short career. You're in for a short life. I'm sorry to say, but this is a dictatorship when you're at someone's racetrack, because no one else has to pay what that promoter has to pay. So, with that comes the ability and sometimes the misfortune of being able to have to make the decisions, and this is the way it's going to be done. This way right here. I hope you all play. I really do. But if you don't, we're not voting on this. So, Barrie Speedway, and I got to tell you a true story. Brad Moran, back when I had All-Star, Brad Moran came to me 3-4 years in a row. And Brad Moran at that time had Barrie Speedway. And Brad said to me, Joe, I need an All-Star race. Can I have an All-Star race? I said, Brad, I'd really like to, but my guys won't go for it. I kept bringing it up at my meeting and say, hey, guys, Barrie Speedway's interested in a race. And half the room would go, no, we're not going to Barrie. It's too small. We'll wreck. I said, oh, okay. So I don't know, right? Okay. So I said to Brad, nope. You're not getting a race. You're not getting a race. Well, I'll tell you what, the third year Brad Moran and I met, he said, Joe, I really want an all-star race, and I'll do whatever. I'll pay the guys more money. I want an all-star race. So I went back again, and I said to the guys, guess what, guys? I got great news. We're locking the rules in for 3 years, so nobody has to spend any money. That's the good side. I said, now the other side of the fence is everybody's going to put an old body on, but make sure the car looks great because we are going to Barrie Speedway. And you know what? I tell you the honest-to-God truth, Paul. It was the race of the year, I'd say 4 or 5 years in a row at Barrie Speedway. It really was for All-Star. It was amazing. And the guys look forward to going to Barrie Speedway after that.
Exactly. It's perception, and management has to dictate the races. If you're a racer and you follow the program, you will go where they tell you to go.
Exactly.
You can't let the silver spoons dictate the series.
That's right. That's right. Now, you need the support of the guys. I understand that. You got to make smart decisions, and you need the support. But they also have to return and say, look, we got to support the owner of the track. He has to make tough decisions, and maybe that's one of them. So, it's got to go both ways.
Yeah, and I look at it this way. Regardless, if there was a series out there that would go or not, and it would take sponsorship, and there's a whole pile of things that it takes. But you could have your own. You could have your own standalone single race that is phenomenal. That is just absolutely incredible. You look at the Slinger Nationals. Now I believe it's a CRA race, but it started out as just the Slinger Nationals, and it's just a big old.
That's the one that Kyle Busch shows up to, right?
Well, I mean
Slinger
Kyle Busch
Nationals.
and Bubba Pollard and all the local guys from the upper Midwest, but there's guys. Stephen Nassy goes, and Caden Honeycutt and all those guys. They make the trip up north.
Put an old body on and go.
No, you don't even need to.
Yeah.
The speeds at full throttle, with the banking that's there, I wouldn't doubt that the speeds would be fast enough that a little bit of aero would help you. When you look at the downforce side of things and the where the Pro Late model is at, the speeds would be incredible. I think that if there was one place where I would want to see a decent paying race, whether it be like a $5,000 or $10,000 to win Pro Late model race, Varney would be the place where I would put it. And it's just
too cool.
I think that, the reason why I wanted to bring it up on the show tonight, not to put you into a corner, but because we were talking about it at the Buck and Doe, at Josh Stottie's Buck and Doe, and he said that would be the first place that he'd register to go do it. He said it would be crazy, but no. Anyways, Paul, I gotta throw it out there to you. You guys definitely have creative ideas. But you're like you mentioned, you got 70 pads there. You guys aren't just resting on your laurels each year. Every single winter, you guys have came out of the box with new ideas, and you're changing stuff up at the racetrack. Whether it be on the concession side, which, by the way, the concessions look great at Full Throttle this year. The new pads look great this year. It's amazing what a coat of paint will do, in certain areas.
Yeah.
And hats off to you guys, because the facility looks completely different than the last time I was there before. And what do you guys got planned for the facility-wise? What can the fans look forward to seeing that's different next time they show up?
There's always going to be improvements. There will be more painting. There will be new wooden stands, various upgrades. We're talking about a candy ice cream hut in one of our huts. We're going to switch it up and just keep trying to create new ideas and get people motivated and bring back the glory days of racing.
Yeah, and you're well on your way to doing that. Sponsorship plays a key role. Have you seen your numbers, Paul, creeping up in sponsorship? Is there more of the business community starting to wrap their arms around you?
100%. We have great sponsors: McCall's, Grisdale's, Chalmers Fuel, a couple of the APC stores that Stottie's own, McAllister's businesses, and various others. The list goes on and on. We have a lot of people stepping up to the plate on sponsorship, and I feel it's going to get better as we go. Just got to keep the nose to the grindstone, kind of like you used to when you ran Sabu.
Yeah, I remember those days, man. A lot of sleepless nights. But I'll tell you what, some of the, those are the years that really kept me going.
Those were the best years Sabu ever had back in those days.
Well, they were good times. I know that Bruce Bennett did a fantastic job with that Speedway for all those years that I bought it from. What's interesting is I bought it in 1994. And at that time, the Speedway was turning 25 years. It was the 25-year anniversary of the Speedway. Well, 2 years after that, Paul, the pavement was so wore out that the guys were just, oh, man, I'll tell you what, they put a brand new set of tires on, and in one night, after after heats and after practice and after a feature, right sides were gone on the right sides of those cars just because the track was so wore out. And that was 1997. I repaved it. And, it was all the world of difference. And you know how time flies? This year, it's over 50 years now. So it's been as long as the first time around that the asphalt was down. I know MEI was out there doing a little bit of paving just the other day, fixing up a bad spot that was down in turn 1 and 2. And I made a little comment on Josh's post as he keep going. The whole track needs it. And Dale Shaw piped right in there and said, no. I totally disagree. Don't touch a thing. So it's funny how it goes, right? The track is older now than when I paved it. But I kind of think that it would be kind of really cool to see a new lift go down on that place.
100%. A lot of the tracks need that, including ours, and we're negotiating with MEI on that now for in the fall, and trying to figure out if we should do any reconfiguring. A lot of our locals are against any kind of expansion or moving walls out. They like it's a racer's track, a driver's track. It's 2 groove now. If you move the wall out, expand it, is it going to turn into a 1 groove like some of the others have? It's, we're evaluating it to see what is the smarter move, right, moving forward.
Yeah, and I don't blame you. You got to look at both sides of the coin. Any of the races that I've ever seen at Full Throttle, it does get tight off of turn 4, but Paul, you can attest to this. You raced at that Speedway a long time before you bought it. You got to be careful coming off turn 4 at Full Throttle.
You do, and I raced the Hurricane Midget back in the days. They're fast. Back in 03 to 08, in and around Full Throttle through Alex Hamilton's ownership and the one after him, McCullen. And they were quick in those. You got to have the trajectory and know what's around you, and you can't, just throw it in and do whatever. And then obviously other cars are there. It's like anything else. You could drive around 2 telephone poles in a field. You got a steering wheel, a brake, and a gas. It's just a matter of using your head.
It is.
Yeah,
No, it's true. You gotta really use the mind. There's a science to it. There's definitely that. I think back to Barrie Speedway. And I'll tell you, coming off turn 4 at Barrie Speedway was no joke either, man. You had to really feather it coming off turn 4. And if you did diamond it, I'll tell you what, anybody that was on your outside was going to be put into the grandstand.
Well, I remember lap 1, Barrie Speedway, after the reconfiguration. Lap number 1, the first guy to do a lap was Tom Walters, and he destroyed a car at Barrie Speedway. Do you remember that?
Yep, I do.
It was lap 1, and it was all the talk. Oh, this place is going to be dangerous. Like, Tom Walters really killed that car. Like, it was, he came off the corner. Like, the wall wasn't there.
That's right.
When there's a wall there, you're going to hit it.
You stick, uh-oh.
But, it was one of those racing deals, right? It's just, it's so incredible. I love the facility. I love what you guys are doing. you guys definitely take a different approach than a lot of the racetracks that are out here in Ontario, and hats off to you, and congratulations on a great year by the sounds of it, and looking forward to seeing what all comes down the pipe for 2023.
I think it's going to be a stellar year next year. And one thing I should add, our walls are flat walls to the ground. Most of the tracks are jersey barrier walls, which give you the uplift. So one good thing is we have high walls and non-flipping walls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
they
true.
Just stop you instead of, like I've seen jersey barriers, they get upside down really quick. We don't get too much of that, which is one good thing.
That is true. That's true. Yeah, that wall's got a little kick out at the top, and there's no lift at the bottom. So if you get into the wall, you sort of stick to it, and you do kind of like a Ross Chastain, right?
100%. 100%. If you had good scrub rails on the side, you could probably do that here.
Yeah, you could. Other than you'd go for a loop when you hit turn 2. I guess that's where the track entrance is. But I digress.
Yeah, that wouldn't be the spot to do it. I'd say going into 3 to the flag stand would be the best.
Yeah. And how much you want to bet, Paul, we're going to see that happen, not only at your place, at other racetracks across Canada and across the U.S. There's going to be a pile of Ross Chastain lookalikes from here, and I bet you not 90% of them go near as good as Ross's did.
Hold up. That is not going to happen.
You want to bet?
Yes.
How much you want to bet?
Well, it might happen. Somebody might try it.
No, it's going to happen.
Somebody might try it, but they're going to look like a buffoon when they do it.
I know. That's what I just said.
No,
80% of it won't work.
Yeah, because so you look at the car, you look at the next-gen Cup car, and the reason why it works for them is because that little hubcap sticks out further than the wheel. and they've got a low-profile tire, so they don't have a whole lot of rubber.
Right.
And then it's all steel and composite down the right side.
You're doing a lot of calculating here, okay?
No,
that's all hindsight.
You do it with one of our tires, and it's going to act like 2 big old brake pads scrubbing up against the wall.
Unless you build the side of the car out to do it.
Yeah, you're not going to – it's going to cave in.
Some of those modifieds are built out that side.
You're not going to do it with
on
a modified.
that side.
Number one, you got wheels that are exposed.
I know.
There ain't going to be nobody at our level try the Ross Chastain deal.
How much you want to bet? Lay your money down. I'm going to replay this because I'm taking your dough. Somebody's going to do it here in Ontario, and it'll happen more than once.
It will not.
And they're going to destroy their car.
Yeah. Some people are going to hit the wall.
Fans will love it.
Yeah, they will. They'll be number 1 on the list. That year, won't they?
100%.
Paul, how did the registration meeting go yesterday? Did everything pan out well? How did it?
It's definitely a good starting point. I mean, everybody at this time of the year, you got factor in Christmas, and everybody's wondering what's going on with rumors of possible pro-late at this track or mods over here, the mergers with OSCAAR and APC. There's a lot of pot stirring and up and down and what people are going to do. But overall, numbers are great, as good as last year, the year before. Some new faces. It's motivational. I think it's going to be a stellar year.
Yeah, I think it is too. Paul, if someone's tuned in tonight that wants to get involved or check out Full Throttle Motor Speedway, maybe race there, maybe they want to go there, maybe they want to sponsor there in 2023, how do they get a hold of you and how do they go about it?
Well, they could go to the website, reach us through our website. They could call my cell phone direct. They could come to the property. We live here year-round. We're back in the pits in the house. We're here 24/7 year-round. When we have a restaurant uptown, we're gone a few hours a day, and then we're right back here.
Awesome stuff. Well, I can well imagine you are going to be one busy cat come 2023. Plans all underway, and things are already in motion for the new season. Congratulations on a good 2022. Can't wait to see what you got cooked up for 2023, bud.
Thank you, Joe. And we'll have to get you on your show here a couple of times this year since we missed last year. We'll schedule a couple of times so we can have a good night.
You want to believe it. You can count on it. We will be there. Paul Trepanier, thanks so much for the time tonight.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it.
You betcha. Paul Trepanier, owner of Full Throttle Motors Speedway. You could check him out. Get to them online. Have a look at that racetrack. You've never seen that Speedway before. You got to have a look at it. 33-degree banking in the turns, like Daytona in the turns. And I'll tell you what, some of the best racing you're going to see on a short track APC, you guys should be there. I know half the race base is saying, shut up, Chisholm, shut up. It's okay. I'm used to it. Go ahead. It'll be one of the best races that you guys have ever done at Full Throttle Motor Speedway, and I think the series would be better for it if you guys get there. Anyway, we're going to hit this break. When we come back, Dave Gainforth, OSCAAR president, is going to join us. We'll cover the news. OSCAAR, APC, or not APC, but OSCAAR United Racing Series merge next on Racetime Radio.
She was a girl in a short dress. I was a boy in a charcoal vest. When the winter wind came calling, that engine like a stalling. I was the one who kept waiting.
From coast to coast, you're listening to Canada Talks.
Canadian Sports Trivia. Here's Joe Thistle.
November 24th, 2019, the 107th Grey Cup in Calgary, and Winnipeg's 33-12 defeat of the Hamilton Tiger Cats signaled the end of one of the longest droughts in CFL history. It was the Blue Bombers' first championship since 1990, and for running back Andrew Harris, it was doubly historic as he was named Most Valuable Player and Most Valuable Canadian, a first in Grey Cup lore.
Canadian Sports Trivia.
Even though Napa is a nationally known name, nearly all of our stores are built from the ground up by local owners and families. People you might call neighbors will be here, there, and everywhere. Doing what neighbors do to keep their communities moving forward. You stop by a Napa Auto Parts store, you can count on Napa know-how.
Tonight's Racetime Radio is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts Stores, New Glasgow, Antigonish, and Port Hawkesbury, Nova Scotia. You can count on Napa know-how. AP Race Fuels, the worldwide leader in race fuel technology. Epic Racewear. Look, feel, be epic at epicracewear.ca.
Now, a flashback in Canadian music history. Here's Eric Alper.
Rush holds a special place in our hearts and in the record books. They've sold more than 40 million copies around the world. They have a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame, inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Officers of the Order of Canada. And they've released 24 gold records and 14 platinum albums, placing them 5th for the most consecutive gold or platinum studio albums by any rock band.
From the high banks of Daytona, we cover it all. Ooh, that's gonna leave a mark. And now, back to the Joes.
Hey, shake and bake, Cal! Woo! Shake and bake!
Here on Racetime Radio.
And welcome back, everybody, to Racetime Radio. So glad you could tune in tonight, all live. SiriusXM Channel 167, Canada Talks, on our YouTube page at RaceTimeRadioTV and on RaceTimeRadio.com. And we are late. I was supposed to get a hold of our next guest right at 8 o'clock. But, Junior, because of you and I being long-winded, it's now 14 minutes.
I've never been accused of being long-winded, ever.
Well, I'm just accusing you now. Just now. But let's welcome in, shall we? And I might add to any of our listeners, you might want to throw YouTube on because you get a chance to see Dave Gainforth. We got him up on not the hotline, but the video cast. He's up with us. Dave Gainforth, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, Joe. How are you guys doing
Fantastic, my man. Hey, huge news. Huge news. Just the other day, OSCAAR Hot Rods Modifieds now going to merge with the United Racing Series. David, who come up with that one? Was that you, buddy?
Well, I'll be honest. Luke and I have been talking probably for a couple of years, off and on at different races. We'd cross paths and we'd talk for 5 minutes. And, he's always had an interest in helping myself and OSCAAR, the mods and the hot rods, to get to the next step in racing here in Ontario. And he never pressured me to do anything I wasn't ready to do. At our last event in Delaware in September, the big long weekend, we had one of our longer conversations, probably 10 minutes. And, it got me thinking. And with the way I saw things going in racing and happening in, the other news and other tracks and stuff, I just decided I've taken the series as far as I could take it on my own. And now was the perfect opportunity to cap in on the resources and take him up on his offer.
First things first, I gotta say, what you have done for OSCAAR Hot Rods Modifieds, and I'm gonna throw the super late models and the midgets in there, okay? Because those were all under the OSCAAR banner. Dave Gainforth, that was all you, buddy. That was all you. And I'll tell you what, the history that you have created, and I know you're not going anywhere. You're sticking around, and I don't mean it to sound like you're going anywhere, but the history that you have made and what you have given the race fans of Ontario to come to tracks and see over the years has simply been amazing. No one else has done what you have done, my friend, that doesn't own a racetrack or hasn't owned a racetrack. Congratulations on everything that you've done.
Well, thank you very much, Joe. I greatly appreciate the accolades there. I've been very fortunate that over the years I've been looking. Actually, that's a Super Late Model trophy sitting behind me there. I don't know if you can see it or not.
I sure can. Yeah.
I took down the dead flowers there and put up the trophy instead. But I look back, and it's been 25 years since I've been involved in OSCAAR, starting way back with the Supers when it was just the Supers. And it's been quite a ride. I've been very fortunate, being able to develop new divisions or helping organize divisions that were here to give them a more solid future. People buying into my dream because they were all just dreams. I'm not a race god or anything else. I'm more just a race fan, and I want to see good racing at the track each and every week. And I've just been very fortunate, that's all. But I do appreciate the accolades and the support from everybody from the past 25 years.
Now, you can't see Junior, but he's going to ask questions.
Why can't he see
That's
me?
okay.
Because I haven't got this thing rigged up.
There's
I've
a
only got
camera
a
looking
short.
at me.
Yeah, but he might be
Hi,
up.
Dave.
Yeah, he can
Hi, Dave.
see you. You're right. You're right.
Oh man, Dave. Looking at obviously you've built a tremendous amount of friendships throughout the 25 years, and there's been a pile of people help out OSCAAR. There's been a pile of people race in OSCAAR. There's been a pile of people that have trash talked OSCAAR. Right? It's all of the above. What has been a standout memory of OSCAAR getting to this point, and also to follow that up, what is a goal of OSCAAR's in the future?
Well, I'd have to say to start off with, when I first started OSCAAR, the Supers were struggling again, and to be able to build them up to a solid 24 car field and stuff, that was, I consider that a great accomplishment. At the time, they were the most expensive race cars in Ontario to race. We weren't racing for a lot of money. OSCAAR's never had a lot of money or marketing support. I've been very lucky to have some very dedicated people behind us throughout the years. What's my biggest, I can't pick just one accomplishment. I think just having what we have today, being able to bring the fans what I do to the racetrack every week, having the support of the drivers. I think between the two divisions this year, we had over 90 drivers participate between the hot rods and the modified. Between the two, we would average 40 cars a night at a racetrack. I think that's pretty solid for this time of in our economic structure coming out of COVID and everything else. There's just not one thing that I'm proud of. I'm just proud of everything I've been able to accomplish in this sport.
You've got a lot to be appreciative of and a lot to be proud of with the stuff that you have done, Dave. So now Luke Ramsey, the United Racing Series, and OSCAAR get put together. Is this an ownership share? Has he bought OSCAAR? Are you working for OSCAAR? What is the formula there? What's the secret sauce going to be?
OSCAAR, we're just now under the United Racing umbrella. Fans from the outside are still going to see OSCAAR Racing. OSCAAR Racing's not disappearing. There was nothing really to buy or to sell him. You know, it was just a handshake. Let's just work together and create the best product that we possibly can for everybody. And, you know, and to protect the driver's investments. That's the key thing. You know, they all invested in OSCAAR. It has a traveling series. They wanted to travel. And I want to make sure that they're able to continue to do that and their investment does not go to waste.
So
they believed in what I did, so I want to make sure I protect them in the long run.
Does this equate then to more races that the teams can expect? Or I know at some point, the teams go, hey, Dave, no more races. We got enough. And that's even a split. Half the guys will say, yeah, give me more. The other half will say, don't. We got too many now. What does this equate to?
It actually is going to, the talk this year was the amount of traveling and the amount of racing that we did do. Nobody foreseen what the price of gas was going to go up to. Just the cost of living on your day-to-day life before you even get to the racetrack, tire expense and everything else. So they're asking for less races, to be honest with you. We're looking at a 10 to 11 race schedule. The ideal goal is 10. I always book one extra one because it's going to rain sometime.
Yep.
So we should still have a 10 to 9 point race schedule.
So is that 10 for the hot rods and 10 for the modifieds?
Yes, most likely.
Yeah.
And honestly, we're still going to be racing together 99% of the time.
Yeah,
everything is going to be exactly the same as it was this year. The fans are not going to notice one difference.
Yeah, they won't see a difference. Is the United Racing Series going to be adopted into the OSCAAR logo, or have you guys gone that far yet?
I'll be honest, we haven't even thought about that yet. I met Luke a week and a half ago on a Wednesday. He was leaving on Friday for SEMA. We haven't even spoke since then, just on email a couple times.
Right.
We do have a lot to sit down and work out those fine details and stuff over the next few weeks. But, I imagine it'll all be morphed into a new logo of some kind, Jess.
Yeah, and that'll be cool too, right? Like if that happens, that'll give it a different look. Marketing-wise, will the United Racing Series take that portion over, or are you guys going to be still share duties? Because you did a pretty good job, David, in drumming up sponsors.
I've been very fortunate to have some very dedicated sponsors and marketing partners over the years, and I haven't had really a chance to sit down and talk about that with them yet. I'm hoping they all do come back next year to continue to support us. Is Luke and United Racing looking for marketing partners? Yes, they are. We do realize that most tracks can only afford to pay a team so much to come through the gate before the price of the ticket is just out of reach for people. We don't want to put that onus just on the racetrack to get the drivers more money. We realize the onus needs to be on us as well.
Well,
to help them raise money.
You know what the tracks do, right? We've seen it. Recent history will show. When they get a show in, they love bumping the track. And I'm not saying every track. I'm saying some tracks. Put the price in outer space because they've got a tour coming in. And the very guys that are coming in to pad the car count, to put the show on, those are the guys paying the big buck at the pit gate. I've never agreed with that, but that's the way I've seen it happen recently.
And that has become sort of the trend that the racers always feel they're kind of paying for their own show. And partially they are. Yes, you can't deny that. And racetracks do that. But their expenses go up as well. To operate a racetrack now is very, very expensive. I've been on the other end 2 or 3 years ago when I did Gainforth. I know how much it is to do it. And I didn't have to have canteen staff and cleanup and all that other stuff, where everybody there flipping a burger is making minimum wage now, which is what, $15
oh yeah
or something. So their costs are just astronomical. So they have to pass that cost off on to their consumers, or they're not going to make any money. And if they're not making money, they're not going to be there, and we're all just
Well, that's
racing
true.
for trophies.
But you got to run off volume too, right, Dave? So if you put your price too high, no, it doesn't take rocket science to figure out that your volume is going to be lower because less people can afford to go. If you're going to work off volume, you need to have a marketable price. And I don't think, like APC did a great job when they were at Delaware Speedway. And I don't think we've seen a $45 ticket at Delaware Speedway for anything this year.
No. And sometimes lowering your price by $5 will end up making you more money in the long run. People have a $100 bill in their pocket. They're going to spend it. They're either going to spend it at the front gate to get in, or they're going to buy a burger or fries, or they're going to buy your souvenir T-shirt or something. They're not going home with that money in their pocket.
No.
They're going to spend it. It depends where they do spend it. So if you lower the price to get in, you're going to get more people coming in to buying a bottle of water, where there's a huge markup on water than there is.
Well, just don't make them pull the second 100 out because it'll be the last time you see them. Junior, go.
Exactly.
Yeah, look at JP used to do one tuning night a year at Peterborough Speedway.
Yep.
Now, what is it? 3 tuning nights a year?
Well, I think he's raised it to $4. I think it's called double tuning night now. Inflation has hit.
A whole
but
$4?
It's still $4 to get in for a great night of racing.
But there's two of them. Right? There's 2 shows like that, right?
I think he does 3. To be honest with you,
three
I'm
of
not
them.
Sure. Yeah.
But so you look at that, and I've seen the photos. The place is jammed.
Oh yeah.
And I've been to places where it's $45 to get in. You can shoot a cannon, and you can't hit nobody in the grandstands. Well, I mean, for me, all day long, until that grandstand is full, I'm lowering my price. Until that grandstand is jammed, like you can't fit another person in. Now we can start to up the price.
Well, there's sponsorship too. That used to be an offsetting factor when I owned the Speedway.
Well, it is an offsetting factor, but there has to be people.
Well, I know.
And that's the problem.
You're not going to get that. You're not going to get the chicken without the egg.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And when I look at the state of motorsports today, that's one of the things that NASCAR learned the hard way. Their prices were crazy through their growth period, right? When they got up into the late 90s, when they were at their peak, their prices were astronomical. And when the crowd started dwindling, those prices tumbled, and they had to tumble. Yeah. And now you can go to the championship weekend at Phoenix for $45. Now, is it a great seat? Absolutely not. It's a seat in the grandstands. But, you can go there for $45.
And you can watch every replay on your phone.
Exactly.
Exactly. Or watch the big screen.
And you only have to walk 55 feet to get a hot dog and a $3 beer. But when you look at the entire thing right now, the motorsports is definitely missing the volume side in fear of losing money. And the second that a business does that is they become overpriced, unless the brand is worth it, right? Unless the brand is, if you have a Rolex, well, you can charge a lot of money for a Rolex, and you don't need to sell many of them.
That's right.
But I'm sorry, we don't have that brand.
No,
Motorsports in Canada doesn't have that brand.
There's only one Rolex. No. There's only one Rolex. Exactly. I believe Delaware Speedway set the benchmark this year. I watched their prices. I watched the shows that they had, and I'll tell you what, there was good value at Delaware Speedway. Hats off to Luke and his whole bunch. They did it, and I wouldn't doubt they came pretty close to either making a few bucks or coming real close.
Oh, I agree. Luke and his group, when they do something, they do it right.
Yep.
And they try to keep it economical for everybody to come and be a part of the show.
Yeah.
Whether it's 1 day, 2 days, you go to the concert, if that's your thing, they have different options there for you to be a part of the show over the course of the weekend.
Yep.
So is registration opened up for you guys now, Dave? Banquet's all done, right?
Oh, no, we haven't had our banquet yet.
Oh, okay.
No,
I thought
we don't usually have ours until January sometime. We're just in the process of getting all the date and everything done. Registration is not open yet for next year. We're hoping to have our get-together meetings by the end of November, first week of December, because I'm sure guys are going to have lots of questions and stuff of what's going on. And, we just want to make sure that we have enough time to get everything in place, to have the answers for their questions. So when they leave there, they're confident in the program that we're putting forward for next year.
This is too cool. Great news. When I seen it, I went, wow. My jaw hit the table. I went, good job, Dave. Good job, Luke. Fantastic news. And I can only see positives coming out of it. Does it, I can imagine, I don't know for sure, but I can imagine hearing Sunset announce that they were going to try and put modifieds in this year. I don't know how their process is making out, if they're getting any kind of traction with it. Does it matter now? Does it matter? Do you think the teams will just all hang in there with OSCAAR and continue to build now with this news?
Well, even before the merger happened, I was still going to have OSCAAR modifieds in 2023. We were still going to have a touring series. If I ended up with 5 cars, I had 5 cars. I had spoken to all the promoters. I told them, I still believe in this division. Do you believe in me? And they all did. And they all realized, I can't control what another promoter does with his Speedway. That's 100% his business. Did it upset me? Yes. Was I disappointed? Yes. Have I seen this before? Yes.
Haven't we all?
So we all have. And I hate seeing history repeat itself when it didn't have a positive outcome the first time.
Yeah. The first time, the second time, the third time. We can carry on with that.
Exactly. It's just a revolving circle. It's just racing is just another lap. It takes about 10 years to do a lap, and it just flips a full circle again. So, but I think I'm very confident. The guys, I haven't received any negativity from our drivers that have reached out to me so far. They all have questions, how much money am I going to be racing for and all this other kind of stuff. And,
yeah.
And all I tell them is it's not going to be any less than it was last year.
Yep.
That's all I can tell you right now.
And if more is a bonus, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I heard you talking before, about the hot rods and stuff. And no matter what money we do find or whatever, they're all going to get paid the same. I'm not changing the format. I still have control over this kind of stuff. And Luke is just there, and his group is just there for support. If I have questions, to offer suggestions. He's seen things that I haven't seen in this sport before, and vice versa. And I think together we're going to be a pretty good group. And just people don't need to panic. Nothing's changing.
No.
The world's not ending here in Ontario racing. Everything, there's still going to be APC races, and OSCAAR could be racing on the same night as some other track.
It's a big plus.
Absolutely.
It is.
It's
nothing's going to change.
It's super exciting. Dave, would the time ever come where you might have, and this is only out of bench racing with other people, would the time ever come where you have maybe a couple of hot rod races where there might be an increased payout or a breakout payout that's more traditional, where you have a handful of races, or you have 2 crown jewels, call it, where you have a traditional payout where the winner actually wins more money, type of a deal, or obviously you're happy with it, the competitor base is happy with it. The champion Steve Book, he was on the show and said, look, I love it 99% of the time, but that 1% you want to race for more money.
Yeah.
That's kind of how he put it. But would you see a time where there would be a couple of races, perhaps, or maybe a race that's a crown jewel where you have a breakout where the winner gets $1,500 or whatever, where there's a step down program?
If I thought it was going to be beneficial to the hot rod series, absolutely. To me, to have one guy win $1,500 and the next guy to win these top heavy, the old Dolly Parton purses, that's what we used to call them. They're all top heavy.
Yeah.
They're time you get to 5th, you're racing for the same amount of money again that you would be on a normal night.
Yep.
So why I don't see the benefit paying those 4 people more.
Yep.
I'd rather give it to the people that finish 10th to 20th, because they're the ones that I need there every week. The first 10 are going to be there every week, whether I was just handing out a trophy. Those 10 are going to be there. It's the bottom ones that I need to make sure they got gas money to put in their hauler next week, or they can buy groceries and the wife tells them they can go racing or something.
Yeah.
They're the ones that I need to make sure they're there. But would I do it? If everybody got paid $1,500?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If everybody got that.
If everybody got it, if I win them, well, I didn't win the $70 million. They built up again.
Neither did I.
But,
Final question for you tonight, David.
Absolutely.
Will you do me a favor? Please entertain the idea. Just entertain the idea of pulling those super late models back under that banner and helping those guys out, because I believe, and I could be dead wrong, and if I'm wrong, let me know, but they need it. They need the continuity. Those guys are racers, and they're real good at it, but they need organization, and I believe they've done a great job. Don't get me wrong. They have done a good job for being a bunch of racers themselves trying to put together a promotional package, but they need your help. They need OSCAAR. They need the OSCAAR United Racing Series. They need this new effort, and it would be so cool to see them back under your banner.
Well, if they came to me and asked for help, I would certainly try to help them any way I possibly can. Have they been struggling? Yes. I think they realize I can't race and run a race series at the same time. It's too hard. You just can't do that kind of stuff. But if I was going to do it, there'd have to be a few rule changes, and I don't know if they're open to those rule changes or not right now. But if they came to me tomorrow and asked me, Dave, will you help me? I would help them, just because, again, I'm a race fan. I still love super late model racing. I like the Ontario super late models. I see them as often as I can. You know, and I got a lot of friends there. I've made a few enemies over the time, but, you know.
Haven't we all?
We all have, you know, but there's very few people that get up in the morning and do what we do for a living. There's only 8 or 9 of it. Or how many promoters are in Ontario? 20? You include all the dirt tracks. And
half of them are doing it part-time.
Yeah, you know, there's probably 25 of us that do what we do in all of Ontario. So, you know, there is a lot of criticism out there that, you know, we could do it better.
Well, get on it.
Try.
Get on it.
Try. It's not as easy as you think.
Here you go. Here's the soapbox. Get on it.
Yeah, exactly. It's not as easy getting on Facebook and just trashing somebody. It's not that easy, you know. But honestly, Joe, if they came to me and asked me, yes, I would help them any way I possibly could.
I thought you would say that. I thought you would say that.
To get them back to where they were. Yeah.
David, we've enjoyed the time tonight on Race Time. Congratulations on the news. I know there is going to be a ton more to announce when you and Luke actually get time to sit down. When he gets back from SEMA and you guys get time to sit down, I know that January banquet is going to be a barn burner now. And I know
good parties anyway, so.
We are going to get you back on this show whenever you got something to announce and you want it out to the masses. Dave, you can count on Race Time Radio, buddy.
Well, guys, I appreciate everything you've done for OSCAAR over the years. You've been involved as long as I've been here. For 32 years, OSCAAR's been around, and we just finished our 32nd year. So that's pretty impressive for everything that we faced over the years. A lot of ups and downs, and a lot of people thought we were down and out. And we're like the cockroach of racing. We just keep surviving and coming back bigger and stronger. That's the way I like to put at it. So, but absolutely, as soon as we got some news, you guys will be the first to hear. And you know, if anytime you have any questions or anything, you got my number, and now you got my Facebook. You can look at my ugly face anytime you want.
Dave, this has been great. Thanks so much, buddy. We surely appreciate it.
Okay, guys. We'll see you.
You betcha. That's Dave Gainforth. Great to catch up with him. OSCAAR, watch for big news. It's coming. I know it's going to be coming. Incredible. We're going to hit this break. When we come back, we're going to talk Camping World Truck Series with one of the best. He finished 6th on Friday night in that 23 GMS Champion Power Equipment machine. We got Grand Enfinger going to join us on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
Poor pitiful me, roaming through them trees. Won't you help me out in the North Country?
From coast to coast, you're listening to Canada Talks.
RaceTime Radio is brought to you by the Quality Inn, Halifax Airport, the official stay of the RaceTime Radio broadcast crew. Also by the Wooden Door Bistro.
Even though Napa is a nationally known name, nearly all of our stores are built from the ground up by local owners and families. People you might call neighbors will be here, there, and everywhere. Doing what neighbors do to keep their communities moving forward. You stop by a Napa Auto Parts store, you can count on Napa know-how.
Now, a flashback in Canadian music history. Here's Eric Alpert.
Tom Cochrane's most famous song, Life is a Highway, was a #1 hit in Canada, and it hit the top 10 in the Billboard charts back in 1992. It was written after Tom's famine relief work overseas took place. He was so taken with what was happening there, he wrote it as a pick-me-up to himself after watching the devastation. That's why he mentioned places in the song like Khyber Pass, along with his hometown of Vancouver.
Canadian sports trivia. Here's Joe Thistle.
During the 2000 NBA All-Star festivities, the Toronto Raptors' Vince Carter exploded to win the dunk contest with a series of moves including a through-the-leg slam. Carter's air show was a defining moment for basketball in Canada, putting the Raptors and the entire country on the map. A championship now in the books, Canada has become a hotbed for NBA talent, and it was Vince Carter flying through the air that started it all.
Canadian sports trivia.
Tonight's Race Time Radio is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts Stores, Port Hawkesbury, New Glasgow, and Enfinger, Nova Scotia.
Drivers, start your engines!
Welcome back to the track. Live on Race Time Radio, SiriusXM 167.
And welcome back, everybody, to Race Time Radio. So glad you could tune in tonight. We get to our final guest of the night. This guy was looking so good in his Camping World truck. The number 23 Power Equipment GMS truck, Grant Enfinger, joins us on the hotline. What's going on tonight there, Grant? How you doing, buddy?
Doing great. Yeah, just finished up with the last race of the season, so I'm actually back down in Alabama seeing the family and taking a little bit of downtime this week. So, just finished it off on Friday night, so taking a little break now.
Yeah, I wouldn't have it any much-deserved break there, Grant Enfinger. Kind of nice to know that you're going to be back in that 23 truck at Daytona, and the season's all ready to go, so you can take a little bit of a break this time.
Yeah, definitely a great feeling knowing coming back to a first-class organization in GMS racing next year, and honored to have Champion Power Equipment on our truck again next year. So yeah, it seems like things are gearing up to have a great 2023. We've made a lot of progress the second half and really the last third of this season. We've made a lot of progress, got a lot more speed, and we've got big plans for the off season too. We're not resting on how we finished. We're going to continue to make these Chevrolets better.
23 and 23. How about that for numerology?
Yeah, maybe that's a good omen for us next year.
And I don't know. Junior, take it from there.
How do I take it from there, man?
Well,
you just kind of paused. You took it right to the edge of the cliff, and then you left it there.
23 for
23 and 23.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, and 22 and 22. Hey, you look at the Cup Series.
Look at today. Joey Logano wins.
Yeah, we're done with that. All right. Grant, looking at, obviously driving for GMS, you've got a long history over there. Their truck program, their ARCA program has been super strong, since really the inception. You look over, there's also the GMS Petty relationship on the NASCAR Cup Series side. Does the relationship with Jimmy Johnson, kind of buying into the Petty GMS program over there change your outlook on the Truck Series side at all, or are those two kind of entities completely separate?
They're not completely separate.
Under the same roof.
The Cup deal is in the same shop as the truck program. So the Cup cars are so different these days that I think less technology is kind of relevant than in years past. But the fact that you got so many great minds in one shop and so many resources that if we have a question, we can go over there. Hensley can talk to Dave Ellens, who's Eric Jones' crew chief, and there's just so many smart minds over there just throughout the shop. And it goes both ways, it seems like. But yeah, you add another person like Jimmy Johnson in there, huge resource obviously for the drivers to be able to lean on and stuff like that. but also just, you know, the relationships he has, and so important on the Cup side of things, and pretty cool that he'll be running some Cup races with Petty GMS next year, and definitely takes it to another level. I think you know, I had some people asking me at the beginning of the year, you know, what the expectations were on the Cup side of things, and I mean, at the end of the day, Maury Gallagher, Mike Dean, Ron Booth, everybody that's in the leadership role at GMS and Petty GMS, the number one goal is to win, like and win on the ARCA level, win on the late model level, win on the truck level, win at the whatever they're in. They want to win, and they're willing to do what it takes to do that. So obviously adding a person like Jimmy Johnson is going to do nothing but elevate the entire program.
Only 14 Cup championships on that ownership panel. That's it. There's only 14. You know, that's it.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Hey,
that's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like the match made in heaven. When I seen that release, there was 2 releases in the past like 3 weeks where I was like, wow, like I didn't see that one coming at all.
No, I didn't see that.
You know,
one.
like that there was incredible to see. Grant at Phoenix, you know, was looking to be really kind to you, but it didn't shake out that way all the way through. Take us back to Friday night.
Yeah, you know, this is actually one of the, I guess, the only race in the last 3 or so months that we actually were able to have a real practice. We had a 50-minute practice session to where we could talk about things and actually make changes to our Champion Power Equipment Chevy. So myself and Hensley were really looking forward to that and taking advantage of that time. And I feel like we utilized it well. When we unloaded there at Phoenix, we're not a very good truck on short runs, but seem to be pretty sporty on long runs, and we made some adjustments for that because in truck racing, man, it seems like you have to be able to get them on restarts, and you're almost better off to be good on a short run than you are on a long run. We don't have that many long runs in the truck series, so we made some adjustments. I feel like we went the right way. We're able to kind of drive around the top 10 most of the day. For our final stage, we made the truck better. We got up into the top 5 and never really were in contention to win the race without something wild happening, but had a solid top 5 truck, able to drive our way up there, and had a little hiccup on our last pit stop there, and then ran in the wall on a restart and fell back to 16th, but able to come back to 6th in the last few laps. So, you know, thankful to have a good truck, thankful to make all the improvements we had on it. And we didn't use this for an all-out test session, but we do, myself and Jeff Hensley and all of us at GMS Racing, we plan to be racing for a championship at Phoenix next year. So we did come here with a little bit different package than we've ever run before. And I definitely think it was promising. So I think we got some good notes for the notebook, and definitely we have some more potential and some things that we can go further on, and some things that we would maybe do a little bit differently. But yeah, just a solid night for us, and got shaken up a little bit, got ran into quite a few times, and still able to come home 6th. So not a bad night, not the checkered flag that we wanted to end the season with, but not a bad night either.
No, and a good year, too. You made the chase. If you didn't blow a tire at Talladega, where would you been? You know, like it was looking promising up until that tire popped. And you know, you've had a decent year. You had success. You had everything that you want in a season other than a championship run. And like you say, building that notebook just that much thicker with the big picture in mind, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, you know, and it's a matter of utilizing the resources we have and making the most of the situations that we had, and I think we did a pretty good job of that this year. And you know, got our one checkered flag at IRP. We sure wanted some more of those, but overall, just you know, can't say enough about the effort that was put into this truck this year. So I've never had in my career the amount of effort and the amount of resources that we had this year. So thank you to everybody at GMS Racing, GMS Fabrication, and Chevrolet for that. I mean, it was it was awesome to be able to go to the simulator as much as we were, and to be able to get the information that we were looking for. And I think that's a big reason we were able to make such big gains. Because when we started out the year, man, it was rough. You know, we just flat out didn't have the speed. But man, we made so many gains since February, and definitely proud of that.
All right, Grant, close that book, throw it on top of the toolbox now. Well, you're already with the family, so the book is closed. It's sitting on top of the toolbox already. But the leaves are changing, right? They're changing colors. They're going to start to fall off down there in North Carolina pretty soon here, if they haven't already. You're on Race Time Radio. And it seems like every year at this time I ask you the same damn question, and then you dance around it for a little bit, and then you come back on 3 months from now, or 3 weeks from now, and say the answer. But are you running the Derby this year?
I don't think so.
We'll see you in 3 weeks.
Hey, hold on. Rewind the tape. Rewind the tape. I could play, I think 5 years where I don't think so. And then we look, and here's in the starting lineup, Grant Enfinger.
Well, you know, I'm more of a last-minute person. And, you know, if somebody calls me in a week or two, I'm not saying I would say no, but I have not pursued anything at all this year. And once we were able to make it into the playoffs, nothing else mattered. There was bombs going off every way, and had one or two people talking to me about it, and I'd nipped it in the bud early on, and just wanted to 100% focus on our playoffs and the trucks and all that. And now that that's ended a couple of days ago, I'm not saying I would say no now, but yeah, it's just no plans of it right now, and I think I'm sitting this one out this year.
All right.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Stay tuned, everybody.
Looking forward to hearing your interview. And if you do end up at the Derby, you best give us a shout out when you're interviewed. But,
yeah.
But anyways,
I will. My buddies, anytime I run the snowball, you know, I have friends of mine from down here that help me, and they get exhausted. They get exhausted when I'm telling them for 3 months in advance that we're not running, and then I'm calling them 2 weeks ahead of time. Hey, what are you
doing? Well, yeah, what are we doing for the Derby, guys?
Hey, how big a sticker do you want?
Yeah.
Incredible. Grant, I know we're getting close to the top of the hour here, but I got to ask you, you've been in the Truck Series a while now. Camping World was part of the Truck Series for a long time here. Talk a bit about them as a title sponsor of the series. I know Craftsman is coming in. Camping World, I don't think enough has been said. I know everybody has said thank you a million times over, but to hear it from a competitor, what a company to back this series. They were tremendous.
Yeah, they really have been. And, 14 years in the sport is the primary sponsor there of the Truck Series is pretty incredible. You know, that's a long time. That's a statement for the relationship those guys had, and they weren't just good to NASCAR, which, you know, NASCAR, I don't know if they have the reputation of the easiest people to work with, and I don't think racers do either. But man, Marcus and Camping World did a lot specifically for the teams and for, you know, the drivers and the road crews and man, I think that was pretty cool. That's something that I don't think gets done very often. And yeah, there is, you know, I don't know, just little moments of appreciation that I feel like went a long way. And yeah, definitely thank you to those guys, and been pretty cool to have that on our trucks for all of the races that I've made in the series, and man, that's the market that is racing. Man, I have a camper. We were riding around in the Champion golf cart this weekend, finding Champion generators at Phoenix, and man, you just see them for miles out there, and camping and Truck Series and NASCAR go together. So yeah, definitely gonna miss them in the sport. But yeah, hopefully the relationship with Craftsman is as good as that one was.
Yeah, good. Well said, Grant. Well said. And I know those Craftsman tools will get the job done. I can't wait to see Craftsman back into the series. Puts me back into the Todd Bodine days, and I used to love watching Todd fly around those tracks. And winning Craftsman championships and Hornaday and the rest of the guys. But
I'm hoping they'll give away a toolbox for the winter like they did back in the day. They set it up on the roof of the truck. So hopefully they can do that, and hopefully we can come home with a few next year.
Well,
yeah, wouldn't that be cool?
If you get more than 5, I want one of them. It'd be cool.
All right.
Yeah. Typical Junior.
And also looking forward to seeing you at the Derby.
Always working an angle.
Hey, I always got to work an angle.
Always. Hey, do you got to take Wilbur for a walk like I got to take Wilbur for a walk? Do you take your Wilbur for a walk?
I tried doing that for the first 6 months or so and really tried to domesticate him. I do have some videos of me walking Wilbur, but it has been a while. And man, the fight that he would put up when I'd put him a harness on, I thought the neighbors were going to call the cops. I thought they thought somebody was getting seriously hurt over there. Just, all I'm doing is picking up his legs, putting this little harness on him, and man, you could hear it from miles away. So I haven't done that in quite a while. I tried to do that and just threw in the towel, gave up. He's just a wild pig. He just happens to live at my house.
Yeah,
just for the record, this is not Grant's son. This is his pig.
Yeah, this is his pig. Oh, too funny. And I'll tell you what, if Wilbur seen something that he wanted to go after, he'd take you for a mean ride, wouldn't he?
He when he wants to go somewhere, he can get there a lot faster than you would ever expect. Pigs are fast, but the one thing that really surprised me is how quick he can change directions. I mean, the Joker. I mean, he's like Barry Sanders. Like he can go from one end to the next. Like if he does not want to get caught, you're not catching him. I can tell you that. And if he wants to go through a brick wall, he can go through a brick wall. It's just a matter of if he wants it bad enough.
Incredible. Grant, you enjoy yourself at home. I'll tell you, we all enjoyed watching you in that 23 Champion Power Equipment machine all summer long. And you did a great job, and you're always a great guest on here. Always a wealth of knowledge, and we look forward to shaking your tree in about 3 weeks just before the Derby that you're going to race. And I know we look forward to catching up with you before Daytona for sure.
All right, well, that's it. Sounds great, guys. And y'all stay warm up there in the Great White North, and look forward to talking to y'all soon.
Oh, put your sunscreen on. Have fun, buddy. Thank you. That is Grant Enfinger. Always a great guest on Race Time Radio because it's so great. We can talk trucks with him and XFinity with Alex Labbe. I want you to know, everybody tuned into Race Time Radio, next week we are going to have a segment with How About the Cup Champion. We have it's already prearranged. We're going to have a segment with Joey Logano right here on Race Time Radio for you. So if you didn't catch everything Joey said, we're sure hoping that everything still materializes, but I'm very confident that it will. We look forward to catching up with Joey Logano next Sunday night here on Race Time Radio.
It will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it will. Be the first time we've ever had a Cup champion on here. Now I say that. Joey Logano has been on Race Time Radio a number of times.
Yeah. But right after winning the championship.
And I do believe we got a good shot at getting Ross Chastain at some point. Maybe not next week, but you never know. Ross Chastain could join us. I know I'll be reaching out to him and trying to get him on the show. And, we'll get some real guys, some real Cup guys on here to get some perspective of what it's like through the off season. But that's going to do it for Junior and I here tonight. This has been a lot of fun tonight. We had a great guest tonight, Junior.
We did. It was a great lineup, and looking forward to seeing what we can look forward to during the off season. The releases that we're seeing are catching us by surprise now. Just imagine what we're going to be seeing when we get down into the dog days of the winter, when we get down into the early February, heading into Daytona and Speed Weeks and all that great stuff. So, it's shaping up to be a good 2023 already, and we're just finishing up here.
You want to believe it? Got to thank Sue in the Race Time Radio studio here. Thanks, Susie Q. And to all of our friends back in Toronto at SiriusXM. But that's going to do it for Junior and I tonight. You have a good one, everybody, and we will see you back here next Sunday night, all live on Race Time Radio, Race Time Radio TV on YouTube. If you want to watch us We'll see you then. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Race Time Radio. Visit us on the web at www.racetimeradio.com. We hope you'll join us again next time for more Race Time Radio.
Come on now, dig.
Exclusively on your home for the hardcore race fan.
Excellent, buddy, excellent.